Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. This is actually my second time filming it. As an idiot. It's a really harsh word, but I was not on my A game and I tried recording this. This was like a couple days ago and I went to go upload the footage and there was only like half of it and I was just confused because, you know, I sat there filming for a while. Come to realize I didn't hit the record button for the first half of the video, and then once my camera battery died, I recharged it. Once my camera battery died, I like hit record again, and that's all that was picked up. So we're here, time for a second round. But today is Friday. I didn't have work today for nannying, and I feel like I grammatically said that really odd. Anyway, but I wanted to do a little life update slash Q&A slash just where I've been, what's going on. I thought it'd be fun if we did it together. So I'm gonna take these glasses out. Sometimes they give me a headache if I keep them on my head for too long, and wearing them is not necessary right now. I really only need these glasses at night. A little secret, I'm actually in the Walmart parking lot because I'm about to go in and grab some pizza dough because Brock and I are making pizzas for our date night tonight. So yeah, my name is Tonkin Jahari, but I would never order a pizza by myself. I feel like something, not that this isn't even a hot take, but I feel like when a super viral trend happens and then the person that accidentally created the trend tries to take advantage of it, it kind of kills it a little bit. Because like the Tonkin Jahari meme, it's so funny, but the guy that actually plays that character in the show, they're like going on tour now or something. Might want to fact check me, but I feel like it almost is. It's like when they make a sequel to a really good movie and then the sequel sucks. It's like, you should have just left it as what it was, you know? Anyway, that's me being a hater. Okay, so here are the facts. If you are new here to my channel, my name is Marla and I'm here living in Utah. I was born and raised here. I got married a couple months ago now. Brock and I hit our 2-month anniversary yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, which is so fun. Is that so loud? Evelyn compiled a bunch of questions that I feel like we both see frequently in the like marlacatherine DMs on that account, and so these are just a compilation of those type of questions. These are my favorite videos to watch when I'm like washing the dishes or if I'm cleaning my room and I just want someone like on in the background. It's kind of like a podcast style video, but okay. First question is newlywed life and how is it going? Newlywed life is so fun. I feel like it honestly has been obviously there's been like little adjustments. I'm now living with a boy, but I feel like overall it's been a very seamless transition. I'm very grateful for that. It's also only been a couple of months, so I'm sure there's like more changes to just come over than, you know, like the next year of just being like newlyweds together. But I feel like overall, I don't even know if that made sense, but I feel like overall newlywed life feels how I kind of expected it to, which I'm so happy about. If you marry someone you love, then like newlywed life I think should be so fun and really nothing less than that. Obviously there's gonna be adjustments. You need to like leave a lot of grace for each other because you're both experiencing something very new. But I feel like overall it has been a huge blessing. I feel like it just is a continual like confirmation of like definitely marry the right person for me, and I feel like overall Brock and I mesh very well together in our lifestyles. I feel like him and I, we're very like different people, but I feel like we coexist together very well. Like we complement each other. I definitely feel like if you are a messy gal and you feel like sometimes you feel very unorganized, I definitely feel like I still feel like that from on occasion, but overall I feel like the past year I've tried to very consciously like become a cleaner person, and I feel like that's honestly probably helped a lot with the transition of like just living together, because Brock is overall, he's very clean just for a person in general, but like especially for a boy I feel like he's a very clean man, and so I feel like I wanted to eliminate my unnecessary messes. So I've worked on just maintaining like a clean room, picking something up as soon as I drop it, or clean up my messes as soon as I can, not letting it get too out of control, because it definitely did in the past. But I feel like that honestly has been such a blessing because the apartment feels clean. It's become a habit for me, so it doesn't feel very stressful. Like I just subconsciously do it now. I'm like, if you need to change that part of your life, you really can. And maybe I'm a living testament. The responsibility of like keeping the apartment clean is not just mine, but in terms of like my living space, like blending with Brock's, like I feel like I'm now a cleaner individual, which is wicked. So I was kind of stressed about that, honestly. I'm like, but the past 2 months has been great. You know, this is kind of like a tangent, but I just want like cleanliness to be part of my lifestyle because I feel like there's so many things that can be stressing you out in your life, and the last thing I'd want it to be is like my bedroom because it's too messy. So I want to keep my environment clean. But newlywed life is just so fun. I love watching shows together and then just going to bed. Like You don't have to drive home. You don't have to walk home. Like, that's so fun. I love being able to just also say, like, this is my husband and, like, I'm his wife. And it feels very normal. It feels like, I don't know. Part of me, if you told me I've been married for 6 years, I'd be like, cool. But also, if you told me I've been married for 2 days, I'm like, cool. Like, it feels, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like very normal. On the outside, if you're not familiar at all with, like, Utah culture, or specifically LDS culture, like, a lot of it, I'm sure my lifestyle seems odd, but one of my favorite quotes is, be curious, not judgmental. But I do feel like there's a certain stigma here, specifically in the Utah culture, where, I don't know, it's like when you get married, a lot of people fall off the face of the planet. Like, they're just not as social, or, I don't know, they just become very closed off. And I feel like I could see how that would happen, because you're just, like, getting used to newlywed life, and you're, like, constantly spending time together. But I do feel like Brock and I both have our very much own, like, social lives, and I've made that, both of us, we were, like, wanted that to be a goal of when we got married, that we continue that pattern. So I feel like I still hang out with my friends. I still see, like, I see my girlfriends all the time still. I feel like I go to lunch often. Brock and I try to go on, like, double dates as often as we can. I feel like we still see our friends. And so honestly, maybe that's part of the reason why newlywed life has been, like, pretty easy to adjust to, because really the only difference is Brock and I are, like, living together now, and that's so fun. So anyway, newlywed life going so fun. Fun is the word I keep on, I feel like it's the best word to describe it, because it's just such a great thing. It's a great addition to both of our lives. I mean, I'm, like, speaking for him, but at least for myself, I think it's been a great addition. A lot of people ask about what Brock does for, like, work, or, like, what he's been majoring in school, if he is in school, and he is. So Brock is in his last semester of his senior year. He graduates at the end of December, and so, but I don't think he walks until the next, like, April, when everyone else does. He is studying, it's called information systems. I had no clue what that was before I met him. Never even heard of it. But from what I understand, information systems, which they call, like, IS, it's kind of like a blend. If a business major and a computer science major had, like, a baby, it'd be IS. Pretty much. He's really smart. He, like, codes, and that's his job, and I look at his computer screen and I'm just like, you understand that? It's honestly really impressive to me, anyone that codes. I have one of my close girlfriends, she was one of my bridesmaids. She does computer engineering, I think, or I think she was in computer science and not in IS. But anyway, she codes as well, and I'm like, you guys are just such smarty pants. It blows my mind. I don't know if I've mentioned this online yet, but Brock and I are moving. We're moving into just a different apartment. This one is significantly cheaper, a lot more affordable, and ultimately Brock and I have a goal of saving up and be able to get into our own house, like, as soon as possible. Everyone has different financial goals, but, like, personally, it can be frustrating to be paying, like, such a high amount of money every single month to rent, instead of, like, having your own mortgage and investing that back into yourself. It's definitely gonna take a lot of hard work and saving up to be able to get even just, like, a first-time home buyer's down payment, like, but that's ultimately our goal. And so our goal is just to get into the house as soon as possible. So we're moving to this apartment because it's just gonna save a lot of money. We're thinking of moving, it's either end of December or beginning of January, so we'll be in there, but it's fun because I always love redecorating a new space. It's just fun content. That kind of leads me into my next question, which is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I feel like in 5 years, I wouldn't be shocked if Brock and I have a baby by then. In 5 years, hopefully we're in our first home. Maybe we're in a different home. Like, I don't know, depending on what we want to do. I honestly don't know how long term I'm going to be doing social media. It just depends on a lot of different factors. I personally am not the hugest advocate of, like, family vlogging. I don't think I'll become a mommy blogger by any means. So it just kind of depends on some things, but that's just, like, my personal preference. Like, I'm not hating on anyone, except for the whole Frankie case. That blows my mind. But in 5 years, hopefully just nesting, like, making our house a home. I don't know if I want to go back. So right now I have my associate's degree from college in social sciences and humanities, which was pretty much the reason why I got that degree is because I was part of the family science program at my college. I had so many credits that it just went towards that degree. I didn't necessarily plan on getting that. But with that being said, part of me, like, would love to go back to school and either get my bachelor's in family science or figure something out with that. So maybe in 5 years I've done more education. That kind of also bleeds into the, like, having kids and that timeline. Brock and I are not in any rush to have kids. I think it'll be such a beautiful season of life, but it's also such a fun time right now, just enjoying where you're at and in the right timing. Like, so I'm not gonna really say anything. I know I said, like, in 5 years I could see ourselves having a baby, but I don't know. I feel like that's very much between Brock and I and God, and so it's like, I don't really even have an inkling of when we would want to have kids. So definitely want a big family though. I feel like that'd be so fun. Something too about that question of like, when do you want to have kids, when do you have babies? Something that I have become much more aware of over the years is like that is something I feel like very out of your control. Like you can think you're in control of that, but ultimately I do believe it's at the grace of God and just a lot of different factors. There's personal people in my life that I know that I'm like want babies, but they're not able to yet. Or they struggle with fertility, or just even influencers that I follow. And it's something where it's like, you kind of don't anticipate that until you start actually trying for it. So I can say that like, I want a big family, but like, who knows? Maybe I have the worst pregnancies ever. Maybe they're a breeze. Maybe like birth is very traumatic. I just don't know. Maybe I have a difficult time getting pregnant. So I'm like, whatever God's will be, because I just don't, I can think I have control over that, but I don't. One of the next, sorry, this is pretty much just a newlywed Q&A. The next question is, one of your favorite things about living together now? Let me think. I think that there are certain things that you could know a person, I feel like the back of your hand, but ultimately, I think the best way to get to know them, I think you can really only truly know them though, like once you actually see their living spaces and like you're that up close and personal with each other. And I think that's one of my favorite things is maybe just like seeing Brock's, I know this is, not that this is cringe, but like it's just such a simple thing, but I think it's so cute even seeing like our toothbrushes next to each other, or I see his sock drawer open, or like Brock, he always eats he has a sweet treat every night. He's a sweet treat king. And so like I'll see his little bowl the next morning of like ice cream that is like a little bit melted and there's chocolate sauce. It's like in the sink and I'm like, cool. But I think those are honestly, it's such a tender thing because like Brock and I feel like know each other very well and we're going to always continue. That's always like, you're never done knowing someone, and throughout the rest of your life, like you're getting to know yourself, getting to know each other. But I think it's fun, even just the past couple of months, seeing more of those like up close and personal details of each other's lives. So, and I do think it's beautiful, especially since like in our religion, the belief that Brock and I have too of us being sealed together, I think that's such a comforting, wonderful blessing that we have in our life. And that to me is also one of my favorite things, is like knowing that Brock and I are not just together in this lifetime, but the next too, and that God recognizes that as well. And so like, that's one of my honestly most favorite beliefs even about like the gospel of Jesus Christ. But I feel like that is definitely top tier. One of my favorite things about being married and like living together now too. So more people are asking about birth control. Apparently that is a hot topic here on this channel. I feel like a lot of people ask questions about it. So I've been on the, also if this is TMI for you, like you're welcome to fast forward or something, but I've been on the pill, like the one you take orally. I've been on that since I think it was March or April. I honestly feel like it has been a huge blessing for me because it's kind of like the saying, no news is good news. I feel like it really hasn't been that big of an issue for me at all. Birth control, I feel like there's so many different stories out there, horror stories, really great stories. I'd asked about it on my Instagram story back when I was like starting it, and there was such a mix of responses about people's experiences that honestly was a little frightening. Mine personally, it's been fine. I feel like my side effects the first couple of months, I did experience quite a bit of nausea. I maybe have experienced a little bit of like, I'm trying to think. Brock and I were talking, well actually I was talking to we were hanging out with a bunch of couples and I was talking to one of the girls there, and she was saying that like she felt like birth control made her feel like emotionally all over the place, or hormones were all over the place, and I was honestly felt like mine almost feel a little bit more balanced out being on birth control. Like I don't feel like I never really have been a super emotional person, like, you know, nothing extreme, but I feel like even after being on birth control, like I feel even more temperate. So that's kind of been a plus. But for the foreseeable future, I'm planning on being on that. I just set an alarm every single night. I take it around 10:30. I try to take it within like the minute, and you know, just because that is this great part about the oral birth control is like, it's really only as effective as you are, because if you're taking it like inconsistently, then it's essentially not working. So that's a little scary, but I also didn't like the idea of having something in my uterus. Sorry, I passed on that. Okay, people are also asking about nannying and what does like a normal day look like for me. So I used to nanny 4 days a week, and now I'm down to 3. And I used to nanny for 3 kids, but one of the oldest is now in like grade school, so I'm really only nannying 2 kids. So it's honestly like an easier, not that, honestly it was never a hard workload, it's just more like, it's a little bit more of a calm workload. But I feel like nannying has been such a wonderful, there's like a little fuzzy. Nannying has been such a blessing in my life. I feel like it has taught me a lot, first off, about childcare. Like, childcare is not for the weak. Like, every mother and father that are consciously trying to be good parents, I'm like, I commend you. Because I do feel like, for me, something that I maybe didn't even... Let me preface by saying I think nannying can be very different than, like, being a parent. But with that being said, like, I work from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I commute. And so, like, it's a pretty, like, I'm there for a majority of the day. And luckily the parents that I nanny for, they're just very sweet people, and also they're very, like, accommodating. So, like, where the kids and I are able to go do, like, fun things. We can go to the museum, we can go to the park. So I don't feel like I'm, like, cooped up in the house all day. But I definitely feel like, for me, nannying is, like, it honestly changes from day to day. Some days are better than others. Some days the kids are more relaxed than others. Some days the kids are more sad than others. They're more, you know, it's just, like, it depends. But overall, I feel like something that I've learned is, like, kids have their own little personalities, and it's so fun, like, when you can befriend them. I feel like, honestly, that's been one of the funnest things, is me thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, one day, like, I love these kids, the you know, the kids I nanny, I like, love them, I take care of them, I do my best to, like, be a good nanny for them. But I feel like, for me, and, like, when I'm a mother one day, I'm like, I can't even imagine having your own kid that, like, looks like you, is half of your partner in you, and they have their own little personalities that develop. And I feel like even the baby that I can nanny from the beginning, I've been there for 8, almost 9 months. And I feel like the baby that I nannied, like, they already look different now. And I'm like, that's crazy that I'm watching them grow up a little bit. And obviously I'm there for such a short portion of their lifetime. But anyway, it's made me more excited to become a parent. And also I feel like a little bit more prepared of what the workload could entail. But I can't even imagine, because I'm sure nights are very long. But okay, I just have a couple more questions and then I'll stop chatting your ear off. Some people are asking about health goals, like macro counting, and my experiences with that. So I did a macro, like, counting program. I think I did it from May, June, July, August. Yeah, it was it was June, July, and August. And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't recommend it, but that's from just, like, my own personal experience. I feel like for me, it was a lot more tedious than I would have wished for it to be. Because the program that I was part of, like, you had to weigh everything you ate, essentially. And, like, if you made your own homemade meal, you had to, like, weigh out each ingredient and then put it in the pot. And then once you made your meal, you can, like, weigh out that and then individually make portions and weigh it. Like, to me, I feel like eating was it was such a hassle that, like, and I literally was carrying a scale with me in my purse. I didn't really like that. I didn't even like going to, like, really family Sunday dinners, because I don't want to pull out a scale and start weighing my broccoli. I'm like, okay. To me, I feel like that, if that works for you, great. To me, it felt a little unnecessary. And I feel like they say, like, the more you track, like, the easier it gets, because then you can look at something in eyeball and be like, oh, that's about 30 grams, or that is, like, my portion size. But I just feel like I didn't enjoy that. You are tracking all your calories and all your fats, your proteins, your fiber, your carbs. Like, it's just a lot. And so I feel like for me, I did my best with it, and I was able to get, like, a lot of really good meals down that I feel like were good go-tos. But it was a lot of repetition for me, and I feel like I also wasn't cooking as much because I didn't want to have to, like, weigh out everything. So I just honestly eat a lot of freezer meals, and I'm like, so I just feel like my personal experience with it, I didn't like, it felt a little obsessive to me, and I didn't enjoy that. I feel like my relationship with food is very positive, and I feel like I don't want to tamper with that. Like, I don't want to be obsessed about, like, there was a few times I remember I was making a meal, and it was one of my first times tracking, but I had, like, it was like a slice of Euro meat, and I had, like, too much of a slice. So, like, I literally was taking a butter knife and cutting off, like, shavings of it until it got to the right weight. I don't think it needs to be that extreme, obviously, but I even remember being like, this is weird. Like, I don't, like, doesn't matter that much. Like, I just want to be healthy and eat things in moderation. The macro counter I was with, the ideal was that all of my macros would be within 2 grams over or under, literally 2 grams. Like, that was, like, a perfect macro day, which felt a little defeating when you didn't get that. You're like, oh, okay, like, I'll try again tomorrow. But I'm like, that is a small window. Anyway, so with that, didn't love it. In general, with my health, though, like, I feel like my approach with health and with food and exercise is just doing everything in a sustainable way that can be literally done over a lifetime. Just creating good habits of being outdoors a lot and running and having fun activities like pickleball that I like to do that are helpful, and good exercise. And with eating, too, I just like to enjoy everything just in portions. I do notice, for me personally, I like ending eating a little earlier in the day, like closer to, like, 6 or around 6 or 7, because I feel like I go to bed and I feel better in the morning. Like, I had time to digest my food. But overall, like, I don't really do anything strict, and so it's probably how I'm gonna keep it. Okay, last thing was fun things that you and Brock like to do together: camping, date night ideas. Brock and I have become camping campers. Well, he's always been a camper, but I feel like I've camped more in the past 2 months than I have in my entire life. And I've enjoyed it. It's been so fun. But I feel like the funnest thing that Brock and I strive to do is have just every Friday night be our date night. Obviously, it's some Friday nights are busy and it's just a little bit different. But overall, Friday nights is when we like consciously plan an activity and we take turns planning it. So like one week it'll be me, the next week it'll be him. So that's why like tonight we're doing pizza night. That was his idea. Which he offered to go to the store to get the pizza dough, but I'm like, I need to film a YouTube video, and so that's why I'm here. I literally keep on shedding hair. Whoa. I keep on shedding hair and I don't appreciate that. The hair journey is still continuing. Anyway, but overall, I think that's one of my like biggest pieces of advice in a relationship, like whether you're just dating or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, is like just consciously carving out time to have a date night. Even if it's something like, oh, on Friday night we're gonna watch a movie together and like you make a yummy meal, like it's not a lot of effort, but it still means a lot. So anyway, that is my YouTube video for today. I'm sorry this is literally a 30-minute documentary, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you guys have any more questions, I'd love to chat in the comment section, or I can film another one, a part 2. I really don't know if my life's that interesting, but if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them too in the comment section. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna go get some pizza dough and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Goodbye.